Like, you understand how important it is. You know, I watch a lot of stuff on Deion Sanders, and he's so motivating on
a complete and total failure of leadership from the federal government.
If anyone asks how it's going in the black community, you tell them we'll rise to it. And the revolution will be televised. Welcome to this very, very special edition of the Brian Clegg Chronicles as we present the Judiciary Series. Our first guest today is Judge, let me back up, Patrick Dandridge. How you doing, brother?
How you doing, sir? Good to see you.
You're looking well. You are the, what's the proper name of your court?
It's the Shelby County Environmental Court.
Okay.
It's a criminal court, General Sessions Criminal Court, Division 14.
Environmental Court.
Yes.
I had Commissioner Van Turner on a while back, and we were discussing green space and why green is so important to the black community. I would imagine as an environmental court justice, that's something you pay special attention to, right?
Of course. We deal a lot with blight, and blight in our neighborhoods, as you can imagine, is a rampant situation. And so the cleaner we can get our neighborhoods, the greener we can get our neighborhoods, the better.
Right.
But blight is a pretty serious problem. It's multifaceted, different layers.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in the game for a long time,
Right.
you know, and so it takes a lot of effort. But I think we're headed in the right direction.
You think so?
Yes.
Now, there are some misconceptions about what the court can do and cannot do.
Correct.
Can you explain that to our viewers?
Okay, it's a general sessions court. Most of my cases are, about 95% of the cases are civil cases, municipal violation, ordinance violations.
Mm-hmm.
An ordinance violation is only given a $50 fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's by state statute since the 1700s.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you can get a $50 fine per day per violation.
Right.
But you don't really put someone in jail for not cutting the grass, for example.
Okay.
However, I can place them on a court order to come into compliance by a certain period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And if they willfully fail to obey my court order,
Then that's a new ball game.
that's a contempt of court, and they can get up to 10 days in jail.
You're in the news a lot. There's a situation with a local facility that has received a lot of attention. And let's talk about blight a little bit, because in that situation, they're just unsanitary conditions. What can Judge Dandridge do to ensure that we don't have housing conflicts and all of that going on with residents when it comes to environment?
Well, the most complicated part about this is that the judges can't bring their own cases. So
Right.
these cases come from code enforcement or some other entity of government.
But you can't make them do,
And I
right?
can't make them do anything. Now, what I can do is educate the public on what they can do, and I do that almost every day
Right.
to engage their government. But at the end of the day, those cases that come before me, they're very complicated. Environmental court is really a court of compliance. It's a problem-solving court. So most of the time, people want immediate solution, but really it's more of a problem-solving court. Ultimately, we get to the resolution of the problem. But when you're dealing with real property, it can become very, very complicated.
Right.
Got due process rights, so you have to give them ample time to come into compliance. But under no circumstance do you allow a continual violation for an excessive period of time,
Right.
unless it's not found to be willful.
Right.
In other words, we have 70% of my cases, elderly people, indigent people. These people are not intentionally not coming into compliance. They just don't have the wherewithal, or maybe they're just not they're of age.
Right.
So sometimes you need assistance to help them. And in those cases, sometimes my cases continue. Placing them in jail is not going to fix the
No, that's not
problem
going to fix the problem.
at all. So I have to use the tools in front of me to try to come to a resolution in environmental court, and I try to get it as quickly as possible.
What differentiates, well, I know on a personal note, because I know your family and your family history, but what differentiates Patrick Dandridge from your opponent?
the knowledge and the experience. I have been working in the blight-related field for over 18 years.
And you're from Memphis.
And I'm from Memphis. I'm the only one that's native Memphian. I'm from Memphis, and I came back to Memphis to give back to the community. I've worked in blight for over 18 years as an assistant city attorney, director over code enforcement for 2.5 years. No lawyer does that. But if you're passionate about what you're doing, which I have been throughout and I am now, you do. And now as judge for 4 years. So that tells you the experience that I have. But not only that, I'm separated by the passion. People who jump into the race who want a job, just look at their history. Show me where you've been. Show me what you've done in the community.
Right.
Show me your passion for this field.
You're definitely not a Johnny-come-lately.
I'm not a Johnny-come-lately. And I have some answers and solutions. I presented, when I was the director over code enforcement, I know a lot about how the operation works and what's broken and what does not work. And I have offered it to different administrative officials to try to get them to understand what needs to happen. And recently I went before city council.
Oh, wow.
And no judge would do that, but I felt I was compelled to because misinformation and just not taking some of the simple suggestions that could help the blight fight.
One of the things that Memphis enjoyed, and this goes a little bit to the left, was being one of the most beautiful cities in America at one time. We grew up in that Memphis.
That's correct, correct.
And I have said to Van Turner and other elected officials, keeping neighborhoods clean, fighting poverty, fighting various issues, it's a value system. That's really economics.
Correct.
However, we have seen of late, obviously, the number of crimes that have happened here in Memphis, and it does seem like the trash situation in Memphis, no matter where you live, is getting somewhat macabre. As a judge, as a Memphian, as a brother to Craig Dandridge, what is your goal as a, and this goes beyond just being a judge, the heart of the matter.
Right.
What is your goal to see when it comes to our environment in Memphis?
And let me just start by saying I am just as angry and disturbed as everyone else about the excessive amount of litter and blight in our communities.
No matter where you live.
No matter where you live. And our governments must work. The neighborhoods and the communities and the suburbs that have the cleaner ones, their government works most efficiently. You have to have an efficient operating government. You have to be honest with your citizens about what's not working and what works.
Right.
But for me, what I really want is to empower our communities. Get back to how we grew up and our neighborhoods and our streets were empowered.
Right.
And the best way to do that is encourage the people who are living in those conditions to come together as a community or neighborhood and then challenge your government to work for you. That's the best way. We have a lot of individuals here and individuals there in our neighborhoods and communities. Y'all on the same team. You got to combine forces. The combined forces that you have, they hear it better than you as an individual.
Do you work with neighborhood watches as well?
Yes, so all of those groups coming together is Neighborhood Watch, police, fire, code enforcement, and my court. We all are working together to solve the problem of crime, blight, and all the other marital issues that we have in our communities. And it takes all of that on a regular, consistent basis to get to the heart of the matter.
Tell Memphis, look in that camera and tell Memphis why we're going to elect Patrick Dandridge back to the court.
You should re-elect Judge Patrick Dandridge so I can continue the progress I've made to this point. I've been working in this field for over 18 years. Do not go backwards. It's critical not to go backwards. I have the passion and the compassion to take this court to the next level, and I'm just getting started. I need your vote. Take the advantage and vote for Dandridge.
Take the advantage, vote for Dandridge. We will be back with Judge Tarek Sugarman in a very important juvenile court judges race. So we're going to take a break and we'll be right back. Patrick, it was a pleasure, man.
Wonderful.
All right.
I've been waiting.
See you in a minute. Pow, pow.